Good afternoon. I'm going to have a look at all pairs now to prepare for next week. I'll leave the timing in the description box if you want to skip to any particular pair. And I will start with the dollar as it appears to be in a very bullish sequence still. We seem to be making very shallow corrections in this, which makes it look like it's very aggressive to the upside. Starting with the longer term chart, going back to 2008, we are in about the 9th year of a huge sequence up. I think a lot of traders have this count on the chart. It does appear at the moment to be a corrective sequence, and judging by this, having completed wave 4 last year, we are somewhere within wave 5 now, and the first point of suspicion of an end to this will come on the next high. We've had 3 waves, probably 4 waves done now. Looking at the monthly, it looks like it's driving up, and there is some divergence coming into the chart, so the next high will be the time to look for reversal signals, probably going into the summer. I can't guess the time actually, but sometime in the future, later this year most likely. In any case, wave 4 appears to have completed, and we've had a 5-wave move up, which I talked about last week. And since then, we've had very short corrections where they've essentially been corrective moves in one sequence. There was no second or third part to this that was obvious. It simply continued up in a 5-wave move. And it appears to have done the same basically this week. So I'm looking higher in this, going into a middle third now of wave 5. So we should be expecting a very strong dollar over the next few weeks. The euro has an opposite look to this from the February high, 5 waves down. Second wave correction that was hard to get into. And we appear to be done with the second part of the second wave correction of wave 3. So we should see the sell-off this week. The daily closed bearish, and I would expect to see a follow-through on, well, this week, frankly. There is actually a similar count. I went over this in detail last week. I'm not going to repeat it, but euro dollar, like the DX, euro dollar is also open to reversing on the next low. Now, I mentioned so long as it holds this 2001 area as a low, it could be anywhere beneath the January low, towards parity if it's very bullish beneath parity, but on any new low, there'll be suspicion of turning over. But for now, 4-wave 5, looking for an aggressive down sequence now in wave 3. So this is set up to sell. I'm not at the moment looking for any further correction on this. If it does see a turn a bit lower for another wave up, that will still be corrective. But for now, I think, given the dollar, this will go straight down in the near term. This also looks like a very aggressive situation now. I went over on Friday the possibilities for cable from this difficult and complex situation on the 4-hour chart basically from January. Now, given the bullish dollar, I do expect this to go down too. However, a number of pound pairs do look like they have some upside in store, or could anyway. This one perhaps, pound New Zealand and pound Canadian as well. So it did happen as this bearish sequence did follow on Friday. Situation from the February high and looking like this, one down, a correction like this, and now a third part down. That is for the bullish view on this pair. Reaching this area, sub 123, I will be looking for possibilities for it to turn and head back up. Now on a larger scale, there are 2 possibilities here that I see in wave 4. I still like the idea that on the next low beneath 123, it will turn up for another leg above 128 to complete wave 4 and then head down. Now that does time in right now to a Brexit announcement, so I am aware of this move up and I want to try to get into it if possible. Right now this pair is not good for trading. As you can see, it simply turned sharply around. Now the other option on this pair for wave 4 is that we won't be going up there and we'll see something like a triangle heading down now for wave D. So a move below 121 basically, or into 121, and then a short move up for E, and then a move down for wave 5. So like the DX, all these dollar pairs, actually Euro, Pound, Aussie, New Zealand, they are all looking like they have down moves to be followed by reversals, long-term reversals, sometime later this year. Back to the 4-hour chart and cable. There is some possibility that this is still a triangle for a bullish sequence. Actually, hold on just a moment. Just to describe what happened on Friday, we had one down leg here, and this is a 3-part correction. W, a triangle for X, and 3 waves up for Y. Now, we did not get the extra little high I talked about on Friday, so it has closed beneath this high. Now that leaves this still very complex because it is still open to the possibility that this is a triangle, and we are looking like this where it would be A, B, C, D, E, and I don't think it will, but it could find support here and turn up. That's not what I'm looking for, but it is a possibility still for now. For now, I'm still looking down immediate term, sub 123. I'm not going to trade this. I will be trading euro dollar down, and Aussie dollar I will also be trading down. This ending diagonal, which I set up I think about 2 weeks ago, it finally did emerge and it finally has been confirmed in my view. We got the high on Friday, or maybe even Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night, and it did not, Thursday afternoon, and it did not break that high again on Friday. It set up weakness here on the shoulder with a little red candle. This is very common where you see a situation like this with a small red candle like a hanging man hanging off the shoulder there, and then it just falls off the edge. You'll see that again time frame after time frame, week after week in bearish situations. So now from the high, which I'm marking as an end to the ending diagonal and a break of trend, we have a situation where we're somewhere in wave 3. We could be ending wave 5 here, but I think it's more likely 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we may see a bounce a bit further down. There's some, these ending diagonal situations, there's often like another trend line like this area where we'll see a bounce. So if we get to 763, 764, whatever like this, and we see a corrective bounce, anywhere maybe stopped by the trend here or back to test the ending diagonal, as long as it's choppy, I'll be looking to sell into that further for a third wave down. There's divergence on this, which is another good confirmation that the trend is over and we're breaking the ending diagonal. On the weekly time frame, daily time frame rather, but looking at a big scale. Now this possible triangle, this could be an impulse, but it could also be a 3-wave correction. I'm just counting it as 1 now to see if we get some support here. So there are a couple counts here. This could be C of a triangle where we would have D down now, a shallow E, and a capitulation further holding above 6-8x here. However, given this is so huge and only narrowly triangulating now, but the fact that it's so huge mainly makes me think that we will eventually break this low for a move down. So this, on the other hand, this move up here would have been A, B, C, D, E, and this actually would be the end of the whole triangle, which is still valid so long as this high is not broken. And we would now see a move down beneath the January 2016 low, and I would still expect it to hold this area if it does break. So just like euro dollar, slightly different situation because euro dollar is monthly, which I expected to hold this area. On Aussie dollar, I'm still looking for it to hold this 2008 area as well, to turn up. So it's bearish for now. Bearish, I would say, at least here. I mean, in traditional technical terms, this is simply a range. The price action is simply range bound. We have our high here, low here, and expecting it to come down now to the lower end of the range, where we'll probably see a bounce somewhere here for wave E of the triangle, if this current count is correct. So that remains down. New Zealand dollar, the three-way move up did work. We made a shallow new high. And it seems to be in wave 3 now, 1, 2, 3, bit deeper. We need a further deeper move on this, like Aussie dollar. So we'll be looking for a bounce probably somewhere here, and to sell into then for wave 3 on a wave 2 correction. Situation here is bearish. We've had a three-wave move for W, an X wave. I'll be looking for this to come down now in wave 3. So we're currently in 1 of 3. We had 1 here, wave 2, and we're now in 1 of 3. So a sell of 2 of 3 will be a very good trade. This would come down for Y, I suppose, judging by this very rather confusing and channel-looking, bullish channel-looking correction. Come down for Y here in 3 probably. So I can't target a price area on this bearish move, but it is down and deep, and as I've mentioned, New Zealand still looks very weak against a lot of pairs. So that covers DX, Euro, Pound, Aussie, New Zealand. Let's have a look at US, Canadian dollar, which I'm still bearish on. The week close looking bearish, but it's not as damning as it could be. I'm still expecting one more high on this, looking at the 4-hour, looking at the daily rather. Wave 2 in my view is in WXY or WXYXZ. 5-wave impulse, 3-wave correction, 5-wave impulse, and this correction here I'm marking as wave 2 of wave 3. I don't have it labeled on the daily. So 5 down, 3 up, 5 down, now 3 up, 3 down, and 3 up. I'm looking for one more high, part 1, part 2, part 3, which would be wave 2 of wave 3. And a hard reversal anywhere in this region, 250 to 350, so long as this high here of wave 2 down is not broken. If this breaks, I'll stand back and look for a higher move, maybe 3.6, 3.8. But as long as this is not broken, I'm counting this as a bearish scenario. So looking for a move up next week, and then further down move. If this is all done now, it did not break this high, and I would go with a bearish view only if we see a break here and a capitulation. We'll be able to get another bear flag after that. So for now, looking for one more move higher in US Canadian. Aussie Canadian still Aussie New Zealand is still my favorite pair, and I expect a shallow correction here. We've had a 5-up sequence from 31 January low, 103.26, just to show the larger picture. 2015 we saw a 5-wave impulse up, a long 3-wave correction for something like 18 months, and from there we've had a 5-wave move up. Now as you can see, all the impulses in this pair, Aussie New Zealand, are very impulsive, and the corrections are long-winded and awkward. We had a deep correction here for wave 2 or B, and we had a deep correction to the 78.6 level here, correcting wave 1 of wave 3 or C. Now we are impulsing here, and from this low, we've made 5 waves up. I don't have it labeled here. I'll go to the 4-hour chart. We made 5 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, given the bullish situation, I do not expect a complex correction here. I think the series of complex corrections and long-winded corrections are over. So I'll be looking to tag this quite soon. It simply depends how this unfolds. Now, we've had enough here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're in a position for A to be finished, B to go up, and C to come down. However, there is the possibility 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is looking like a set of 3s, 4, and 5. So it's possible that A is done here and B is up. However, it's also possible that this sequence is A. We have a very shallow B wave, and then we go straight down for C next week. So rather than correcting up to sell into for C, we simply continue down here. Now this is very similar. There's a good example of this last week, where wave 2 of euro dollar, it's a 3-wave move. Simply, it did not break down into disparate, discernible parts. Like this was, for example, I mean, traditionally this would be one thrust, there would be a second wave and a third wave up for a whole 3-wave correction. However, sometimes they express themselves in one single thrust here, kind of like New Zealand dollar. I mean, it's obviously choppy, but it's one thrust. It's not like A, B, C. It's simply one thrust up. So euro dollar was like that too, one choppy thrust up on a lower time frame. And Aussie New Zealand may appear like that too in this. So no discernible bounce for B. We simply have a tiny B wave here, and we come down. Now I am looking at just sub 106 to hold, basically this area here. It'll be a shallow 38.2 correction. Corrections are often quite shallow in impulses, as you can see here. Shallow correction. And best of all, the 2015 move. Very shallow corrections after the beginning. They're all very shallow corrections. So I'll be looking for the same here. So any further down move to 106 or so, I'll be looking to buy into. There is trendline support. And although the weekly candle does look similar to a shooting star, I am taking it as something that will be broken right now, broken upward against, given that, given the whole impulsive nature of this. So see how it develops on this coming week. But for now, it's corrective and it is a buy opportunity. Euro New Zealand did find a low. It's hard to count this as an impulsive with an impulsive wave count, but it's holding that, 4-hour, it's holding that low for Y on a 78.6 correction. So the daily is looking similar to an inverted hammer, holding at support. So I will be looking to get long this on Monday. If it retraces just a bit down here, 14630, this type of area, I'll be looking to get long this with a stop at the last recent low. This up move is valid above the February low. So we would see another wave up. So that's what I'm looking at right now on this. As long as there's not an impulsive move down and it doesn't break this low, I'll be looking to get long this on Monday, most likely. Okay, let me deal with the pound pairs that I talked about on Friday. The market did send a clear signal that this resistance point is not being broken. I wanted to give the bulls the advantage as the minimum requirements had been met and the upside is large in this pair, but this resistance point going back, I think, to September of 2016 is too strong still. So we will see another move down for Y now. The segment so far in Y is 3 waves here, pardon me, to here, 1, 2, 3. 3 waves up, so it wasn't a leading diagonal, it was just a corrective wave followed by another 3 waves here. The look on this, I had 5 waves into here, but it was followed by another wave up to make it just a 3 and reverse strongly last week. So there are some possibilities here. I'm looking to beneath 162 anyway, beneath this last low, which also ties in with pound dollar and pound New Zealand being near-term bearish, possibly to the 61.8 sub 161 level. Now, if you do a simple Y equals W measurement on this, you could be looking sub 161 here. So in any case, it's bearish in the near term. We'll judge it from there, just a moment. So to do about 161 basically. 61.8 level is here. So 161 just beneath there works out very well. So near term, this is a sell. Now I made a mistake on pound New Zealand on Friday. I should have labeled the chart and taken more time to count it. I was looking at this as a leading diagonal. And this is a 3-wave correction and another leading diagonal, which I'll go over in a moment. What I missed was that from the wave 1 high, this 3-wave correction was counted as 1 wave down, 1 segment, 3 waves up, 3 waves down. Now this low on the Sunday open did not break this low, so I should have looked at this as 3 waves down and the start of 3 waves up, 1, 2, 3, and then I would not have viewed this as a leading diagonal. But in any case, so looking at the, actually let me go over the part I talked about on Friday first. When I judged the bullish section of this as a leading diagonal, it did sell off shallowly and came up strongly. Now the situation here was that there was a huge amount of divergence on the 1-hour chart, and when it failed to break up further, there was a perfect hanging man right here. Now any bearish candle with divergence on the stocks, as I have them set, is a bearish situation. And you can see it sold off hard from there. So this whole segment here was just 3 waves, which I'm labeling as X now. And with a divergent situation on the 1-hour or any larger time frame, there's the initial strong sell. There will be a correction, and there will be another sell opportunity in this. So on the 4-hour chart, 3 waves for W, 3 for X, and now we've got W, X, and 1 more wave down for Y, anywhere below the last low, basically. Probably 171X area. And again, I'll be looking to get long this pair for wave 4, however it's counted. However you wish to count this, it still looks like it is a bullish edge overall. A, B, and we appear to be in C now. Now it could go up to above 1.8, or it could just come up to 7.778 area for a triangle. But it is, if it's counted as a wave 4, 1, 2, and 3 up to the previous wave 4 level, so above 1.8. Otherwise, we're looking at A, B, C, so C wave for a triangle, D and E, and another down move. So C wave would still see it come up to about 177, 178. So I'm staying bullish on this pair. Some of these exotics appear a bit more difficult to trade, especially in 4th wave corrections. But the bullish edge remains for now. So 3 pound pairs, 3 bullish edges still. The yen pairs, I'll start with euro yen. This broke down. This was disappointing as I waited for this for several weeks. It's broken down. I'm not counting it as wave 4 anymore. So it's possible that this is done from Brexit, A, B, and C. The count will have to be adjusted here. There may have been a truncation, or I may have just labeled it incorrectly, but I don't have a bearish opportunity here. The other situation is that if this is the high, or this, there is still a three-wave move down, a three-wave move up, and now if we're correct, it still looks corrective. So if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would still be a corrective move up, so there may be something else to come, or we could just be going down further. I cannot say, I don't have a count on this. It looks bearish, it's rolled over. Unfortunately, nothing came of it, so I just have to step back. I would deal with other pairs as the bullish move, despite the corrective look, never appeared on this. I was trying to take it as I saw it, because judging by the impulse and the count, it was missing something. It was missing another high, so there may be some truncation or altered count that needs to be applied, but the whole corrective nature of it gave it a bullish edge. Now, US dollar yen 2, this is still within the bounds. This low has not been broken, but it is very, very close. It so far has not held the 78.6 level. There was an inverted hammer there, but that's hardly holding. So at the moment, I'm still going to watch this for a possibility of a long, but I won't be taking it until I see a 5 up or break out here. As to me, right now, it looks like it's close to following Euro Yen and capitulating. So unfortunately, after weeks of waiting, this and only a small trades in here, have not been able to get into this at all. A simple candle trader would have had better luck than me on this. So I think that's essentially it. I'll look at gold and one other currency pair. I don't have a count on this, but if you want to deal with a candle on the weekly chart of Aussie Canadian, there's a great shooting star here. So I will watch this closer this week on a correction or a breakout maybe. I would try to get short here if I have the chance. It's looking like it could be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So further low, it's still bearish now, breaking and ending diagonal. Maybe we'll see sub 1, maybe 998, 7, like this area, for a corrective bounce for wave 2 up. But it's looking bearish. There was divergence here, and the weekly is a great shooting star on it. So there's a chance to sell this pair for a move beneath this low. So 97x at least. Okay, and finally, a look at gold. As I mentioned in, I think it was last week's weekend video, to stick with the bullish count. I'm not trading this, but if I was advising a friend, I would suggest, and I did suggest staying with the bullish count, as there was no sign it was ending yet. There is a 1, 2, 1, 2 count here. Now, this top guideline is just that, a guideline, and we may see interaction here. There is some divergence appearing, but it's holding above the 80 level, which is what you want to see in a bullish trend. And so as long, on the 4-hour chart, there's something like a hanging man, but again, there's no divergence. So if I was long this, I would still stay with the bullish count. There is no sign yet that is ending, no impulsive move down, no divergence. Strong weekly candle, pointing straight up, no divergence. Just to go over the weekly chart once more, there was a 5-wave move in 2016, a 3-wave correction, which was a ABC here, A, B, 5 waves for C. We've had 5 up, 3-wave correction, 5 up, 3-wave correction, and now we could be in 3 of 3 of 3, so very bullish. Now, I just wanted to say on the, first of all, let me just say that if it does fail here on the trend line, there will be an opportunity for it to come back. I'm not sure if I would label this as a leading diagonal overall, because so far it's been a series of threes, pardon me, fives up, so it could be a good leading diagonal. I want to say something else about the correction overall, but I also want to say that if this is a leading diagonal or something more bearish, we'll be looking for this segment, the fifth segment of this up, to hold this high. So I'll be looking for it to fail and be shorter than wave 3 here. I mean, if you count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would not be looking for it to exceed, well, 1279, but not really much above 1270. So that is a guideline in case a bearish situation occurs. But what I want to say about the weekly chart is that we've had a 5 up and a 3-wave correction. And typically you would expect this correction to be a B wave up here, and another wave down for C of 2. And that's possible, but it's only a possibility. As we just saw in euro dollar and some other one I went over, I think, there's no obligation to have a third move as such. It's common, but this has 3 on its own. So that alone would be enough to justify a full wave 2 correction. So just in case we don't see another move down, I would stick with the bullish count, unless it's a hard reversal here, which there could be. Stick with the bullish count and see if it continues up. It certainly has the option to, it certainly has the momentum. And an aggressive move above 1275 and through trend line resistance going back to 2011, that would be very, very, very bullish. So no sell opportunity in this whatsoever just now that I can see. I suppose you could work a triangle here. So it's almost done. There could be a B, C, D, E. And then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would fail here. But we don't have divergence yet. So if it does fail here, then that's a situation in my view. So triangle for part 4, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E for 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would end this segment. So allow your stop to move up. I would if I were trading this, and see how it works out, because the bullish option is there. Otherwise, we would have had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move here, and there would be a dump. And if this is a leading diagonal, look for it to hold the recent low. In any case, I would expect it, whatever happens on a bearish situation, I'll expect it to hold the 2016, 2015 low. But for now, the bulls have it. Okay, I think that's it. Just one more quick check. Not looking at silver, Aussie yen, Euro Canadian, not doing. Euro pound, as I mentioned before, it's not going anywhere right now. If anything, I'm still looking for it to go down. I don't agree with this being wave 3 idea. I think this is wave 5 up here. And we're having a 3-wave move down. And if the pound is strong, as it looks like it could be in a bunch of other pairs I went over, this would also see euro pound fall weekly, monthly, daily. Daily is okay. Daily could turn, or it could be a situation like euro yen where it looks like it's turning and it ends up not. But I don't, as I mentioned last week, this pair is not offering any trading opportunity at all. Not up, not down. So just stay away from this. Stay away from cable right now. Euros, it did hold that low. Has broken trend here. There may be an up move in euro then. Euro Oz, just as I'm looking at one in Euro New Zealand. But I'm not trading this at all. It's been too bearish now. Okay, that's it. Have a good weekend, and I will update next week. And hopefully the bullish dollar situation continues to play out and we get some good shorts on the dollar pairs and a good long on Aussie New Zealand again. Okay, bye-bye.